Welcome CSE 103 to this video on creating a Replit account. Replit is an online IDE that we're going to use for programming with Python, and we'll be doing some basic Python programming and using Python turtles, and we can also use it for web development. Now, we've used Replit in our web development class, we've used it in our programming class for Python, so it's a nice online IDE. It's fairly easy to use. The dashboard can be a little confusing in the beginning, but we're going to go to replit.com, and just like other applications that you've used online, we're going to create a free account. And you can just use your email, try to use your same email and password that you've used for other online accounts like WeVideo and things like that. So I'll just show you how to create an account and how to get it set up. So I'm going to sign up. I'll make a new account because I've been using a different email. So I'm just going to call this CJ Homa, even though that's not me, but I have a different email. And I use the same password for all my accounts. And then I'll hit create account. And there should be a verify email. I'm going to close up this. I'm going to close up this. And I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Let me go verify my email. And here's my email. And all you have to do is just click on this link, I think, to complete the verification. And it looks okay. So I'll close up the other one I had, and I'll use this. I'll get it out of my email. Okay, I'm looking at my Replit homepage in fall 2021, actually recording this new because there were some changes in Replit. Now, just what I want to point out here, you should see something like this. You might see ads, you might see other things here, but this is home. And then the other place you're going to go to is my repels. Now, you won't have any repels, but you're going to create repels and you're going to create a new folder. But before I do that, if you're on your homepage, what you're going to do, even if you see different stuff here, you're going to go over here to the plus sign, which is new repel. So you could click on this thing, or you could click on this thing. I guess this will do the same thing here. This or that, they should be the same thing. So I'll do this one, I guess. And when you come in here, it'll ask you different things. Now, I was using this for web development, so HTML, CSS is coming up, but you're going to look for Python Replit. Now, they also have Python turtles, which we're going to use, but just to start, we're going to use regular Python. So you're going to click on Python, and it's going to have a generic name in here, and you're going to change that to 9-test scores. We're just going to do a quick little exercise and put dash your last name and even first initial if you want. That way I can identify it when I look at yours, or if I bring it into my account, it'll have your name on it, so it won't just have a generic test score. So do that. This will be exercise 9 test scores, and put your last name first initial on here, and make sure it's Python, not Python turtles right now, and then create repel. And you should have an interface that looks like this with a main.py and a couple things I want to show you before we get started. And we'll actually get started with the coding in the next video, but initially in your output here, if you go to this thing, which is settings, I recommend keeping it side by side for now. So that's what it is, and I think it should be side by side by default. And font size large, you don't have to have it large, whatever worked for you. I do it large so when I'm recording videos, it's easier to see the code. Indent type, instead of spaces, make sure it's tabs. Indent size, make sure it's 4, and all this other stuff should be default. It should be default. Soft wrap, code intelligence should be enabled, and that should all be fine. So when you click on this thing goes away. So that's your settings down here. Now, one thing to point out, which is new, is it said themes now apply across the whole site. Switch themes using the sun moon icon in the site sidebar. So this is not your site sidebar, this is your settings for this particular repel that you're working in. So if you close this thing up and you go to your site sidebar up here, this hamburger menu, you could go down here, they have this little moon, and if you want to work in dark theme, you could click on that and work in dark theme. You might like that for coding. I think I'm going to do that. I haven't done that in the past, but I think I might do that as I record new videos. I use this dark theme when I use web development. But if you like that, you can work in your dark theme, or if not, you can just stay in the light theme. I'm not sure which one I'll use for recording the videos, but that's your site-wide sidebar there. And again, this is your settings that you're working in your Python repel. And you even have files in here. We're not going to have multiple files right now, but that's all you really have to worry about right now. And when we do work, we're going to hit the run button and we'll have this console which will show our output. Now when we work in regular Python, we're going to do code over here and our output is going to show up over here. Now it's not going to be anything really exciting right now. It's just going to be code. It's just going to look like a text editor and it's just going to output code. It's going to be very kind of primitive looking when we do stuff with basic Python. When we do turtles, we'll have a little preview area that'll have turtles moving around and kind of animating a little bit. But right now in regular Python, we're just going to see regular code output in our console over here. So that's what you're going to see. So we're going to be working in here, and every file that we create is going to be main.py. Now you can make other files in there, but we're not going to have to do that right now. We're just going to use our REPL for each exercise that you use. And when you're done with this, you're going to be able to share it just by highlighting this thing and putting that in your comments, just like we normally do. So I'll go over that when we actually do the exercise, but I just wanted to get you started in Replit. And remember, when you're done with a REPL over here, you could go back here and go to your other REPLs. So you're going to have a couple different REPLs in here. I'll go to my REPLs, and there I see the one for 9 test scores are HOMA. That's the one I was just working on. If I want to go back to it, I can click on it, and it does have an auto save, so you don't have to be hitting a save button all the time. You just have to hit a run button to actually output your code. And keep in mind, sometimes it could be slow depending on the time of day. If you ever have any issues, you might have to refresh it, but usually this works pretty good. So I'm excited to work with Replit for both Python, and we're going to use it for web development for the first time. We used to use CodePen in the past, but we're going to use this for web development as well when we start doing that. So in our next video, it's going to be the exercise for 9 test scores. I'm not sure if I'm going to record a new one or if I'll just leave the old one up there, because all the code should be the same, but I just wanted to make sure that I showed you the new interface and some of the changes for fall 2021. So if you want to work in dark mode, you go over here to your sidebar over here and you click on the moon. If you want it back, if you're working in here and you're like, I don't like it in this dark mode, you just go to this sidebar again and put it back to the sun and just click on here to make that go away. And remember, your settings for your actual REPL that you're working on is over here. These are your settings over here, and it no longer has theme in here where it used to in the past. So that's getting set up with Replit. If you have any questions, just email me and let me know. And then we'll start working with regular Python and then eventually with Python turtles. So we'll see you in the next video for 9 test scores.